Vichara is proposed by the Siddhanti, and someone is questioning that. Nanu iti. Nanu cha Shruti Pramanyat Samvedyananda Swarupameva Brahma Kim Tatra Vicharyamiti. Nanu Shruti Pramanyat. Shruti says Vijnanam Anandam Brahma. That's all. Now what, when Shruti says, take it. That's all. Because Shruti is Pramanam. Shruti Pramanya. In as much as Shruti is the Pramanam of the valid means of knowledge for us, Anand, Samvedyananda Swarupameva Brahma means the Vijnanam Anandam Brahma, and Ananda is always used in the sense of Samvedya, then take that Brahman of the nature of Ananda, that is Samvedya. So Brahman is of the nature of Ananda, that can be experienced, or that can be sensed, cognized. That's all. Kim tatra vicharyam. Then what is to deliberate upon that? So kim tatra means kim tatra anande vicharyam. So what is that to be deliberated upon on this ananda? Because some people have a habit, that they just keep going on with things. That also is a problem. And so somebody has a problem with deliberation. But somebody has a problem with not deliberating. And therefore, some people just go on with a word and with something, on and on. Then we just stop it now, that's enough, Or it already known, we already talked about it the other day, sometimes. So sometimes we are so fond of talking about certain pet topics, Moment that comes, then you just go on with it. Not realizing that this has been dealt with recently, and that people already know about it, But anyway, so whatever. Kim tatra vicharyam. So it is not that you just go on with deliberations and take up people's time. So therefore he says, Kim atra vicharyam. Then says Anandagiri, Viruddha Shrutyartha Nirnayartha Vitnayartham Vichar Kartavedam Darshayati. Viruddha Shrutyartha Nirnayartham. Because Shruti Artha, there are apparently contradictory looking statements of Shruti. Vichara kartavyam darshayati. This is a Shruti. And several other statements of Shruti that have been quoted here, where the word Ananda is used as qualifying Brahman, and the word Ananda is commonly used in the sense of that which can be experienced. That means that these Shrutis, or these statements of Shrutis, seem to imply that Brahman is something that can be experienced, it can be sensed. This is the meaning of this group of statements of Shruti. Oh, so Sukha is generally known as something experienced by me. So people use the word Sukha, or they understand. Use means they understand happiness as something that is experienced. And therefore when you say Anandam Brahma, that means we would mean that Brahman is of nature of happiness, that is experience. That is what the common conclusion would be. Whereas other Shrutis declare Brahman to be non-dual, that means not experienceable, So that is where the contradiction is. These Shrutis, because of the commonly understood meaning of the word Sukha or Ananda, appear to say that Brahman is some Samvedyam, because Brahman is Anandam, and Ananda is Samvedya, so Brahman also is Samvedya. That appears to be the idea conveyed by these Shrutis. Whereas other Shrutis are very clear in saying that Brahman is non-dual, and therefore the Samvedya, and then the Samvedita, or whatever, So this kind of dualities cannot be, Therefore, Viruddha Shrutyartha Nirnayartham. To ascertain the meaning of the Shrutis, which apparently are contradictory, Nirnayartham, for ascertaining the meaning, Vichara Kartavedam Darshayati. The need for Vichara is shown here, Naidi. So Bhashyakara says, Na Viruddha Shruti Vakya Darshanad. Says, no, that's not right. The Vichara Kartavyata is, why? Viruddha Shruti Vakya Darshanad. Because we see the Vakya and the Shruti that appear to be contradictory to each other. Sangraha Vakyam. This is Sangraha Vakyam. This is a Vakya in which the capsule statement, in which the idea is expressed, Vivranoti Bhashyakara, proceeds to explain his own Vakya, Satyam Ityaya. Satyam Ananda Shabda hai Brahmani Shruyate Vijnana Pratishedascha Ekatve. Satyam Ananda Shabda hai Brahmani Shruyate. It is true that the word Ananda is stated by Shruti as qualification or characteristic of Brahma. That giving rise, therefore, the idea that Brahman is something that can be experienced. Because that's how the word Ananda is understood. Vijnana Pratishedasya Ekatve. And there are many statements in the Shruti where Shruti clearly says Brahman is non-dual and therefore it cannot become the object of experience. That's what the Shruti says. So Ananda is understood as an object of experience, and Shruti elsewhere says Brahman is that which cannot be an object of experience. So that is where the contradiction appears to be. So, footnote number 1, cha ekatvedi, cha apyarthe, vijnana pratishedah api ekatve. Ekatve vijnana pratishedopi shruyate diyojana. And so vijnana pratishedopi shruyate. We very clearly find in Shruti pratisheda or a negation of the vijnanam, meaning the knowability in Brahman. That is what Ananda is. Ekatve sati vijnana pratisheda shrutimeva udaharati. Brahmana advaitve. That Brahman is non-dual. So, and therefore, there are many streams of Shrutis which actually which negate the idea of Brahman being an object of knowledge. Udaharati yatra ityadina. Bhashyakara quotes several of these statements. Yatra tvasya sarvam atmaiva bhūd tatkenakam pashyed tatkenakam vijaniyad yatra nānyat pashyati nānyat shrunoti nānyat vijanati sabhuma prajñena atmana samparishvaktah न बाह्यम किंचन वेद इत्यादि. यत्र तु विद्यावस्थाया, yatra is the state of enlightenment. So when this wise person is enlightened, asya vidushaha, of this wise man or wise person, saram atmaiva bhūt, when for this person everything became atma, tatkenakam pashyet, tatkenakam vijaniyat. Then, what will one see with what? And what will one know with what? Important here is tatkenakam vijaniyat. Kam vijaniyat. What will one know? Kena vijaniyat. With what? And kaha vijaniyat. Who? Who will know what with what? That means that the distinctions of the knower, who, with what, the object, the instrument of knowledge, and what, the object of knowledge. So karta, karanam, kam, all of these are negated here. Tat kena kam pashyet. Kam is the object of knowledge. Kena, instrument of knowledge. Pashyet, kaha pashyet, who will see? So the distinction of kaha, kena and kam, that means the knower, known, and the knowledge, these distinctions have been negated here. Yatra tvasya saram atmaiva bhūt. When for this wise person everything has become the self, then what will he see or who will see what? So that is how vijaniyat. So that it cannot, Brahman then is not something that is known as different from oneself. Then there should have been a comma actually, because there is understanding. Yatra nānyat pashyati, nānyat shrunoti, nānyat vijanati, sabhuma. That is from Chandogya Upanishad. Yatra, meaning bhumani tattve. What yatra means also we should know. Everywhere yatra can be different. Yatra vidyavasthaya. First yatra in Bṛhadāraṇyaka, in the state of enlightenment. Here Chandogya yatra is what? Bhumani tattve. In tattva of the truth, that is bhuman or Brahma. Nānyat pashyati, nānyat shrunoti, atra here. Vijaniyat yatra, nānyat pashyati, nānyat shrunoti, nānyat vijanati. So one does not see anyat. Na anyat pashyate. One does not see something that is different from oneself. Meaning one does not know Brahman as different from oneself. Nanyat shranati, one does not see here Brahman as different from oneself. Nanyat vijanati, when one does not know Brahman as different from oneself. Otherwise in deep sleep also this is there. Nanyat pashyati, nanyat shranati, nanyat vijanati. But here pashyati, shranati, vijanati. But na anyatvena. So vijanati already knows, but na anyatvena. He knows Brahman, but as something that is not different from, as the very self. And that's a bhuma, that is called Brahma. So that is called Brahman. So there also in bhuma or Brahman, that vedyatvam, that knowing as different from oneself, has been negated. The next statement, prajnena atmana, that comes from this Upanishad again. Samparishvaktaha na bahyam kinchana veda ityadi. Footnote number 7. Prajnena atmana swabhavikena atmana. Samparishvaktaha, embracing. Samparishvaktaha. Yatyantam ekibhutaha. Na bahyam kinchana veda. So when one is totally identified with Brahman, na bahyam kinchana veda, then one does not know anything outside, meaning one does not know anything as other than oneself. So when one gets totally identified with Brahman, then the idea of something that is different from me is completely gone. Ityadi. Footnote number 10. Ityadi ityadina na drashtehe, na drustehe, it should be drashtaram pashyehe. Anyadeva tad viditad ityadi vakyam grahyam. Na drustehe drashtaram pashyehe. You cannot see the seer of the sight. That means that drashta is not the object of drashti. Na drustehe drashtaram pashyehe. You cannot see the drashta, the seer of drashti. You cannot see the seer of sight. That is, the seer is not available for seeing. So seer cannot be seen, seer cannot be cognized. That seer cannot become the object of knowledge in a conventional sense. Anyadeva tad viditat atho aviditat adhi. Brahman is different from Vedita and Avidita. Different from Vedita and other than Avidita. So Veditam and Aviditam, both of them stand for something different from myself. So everything that is different from myself can be divided into these two categories, Veditam and Aviditam. Known and unknown, that's all there is in the world. So that way everybody knows everything. Either knows as something that is known or knows it as unknown. That way also we know. I know black holes as something that I do not know, or whatever, quasars or whatever, quarks or whatever they are. So anyway, so these are things that I know as those which are not known to me. But anyway, so Brahman is different from both Vedita and Avedita. As Karya, Karana. As whatever, so Vyakta, Avyakta, different from that. That means it is the very self. So Brahman is to be known not as something different from myself. So Kyono Upanishad spends a lot of time on that. Iti ityadi vakyam grahyam. These and many of the statements are there where Brahman being non-dual, the idea of the duality of the knower and known is eliminated there or is negated there. The idea is that one should not even have the concept that I am a knower. As long as that concept is there, that means that Brahman is not quite known. So knowledge is there and the idea of knower is not there. Knowledge is there, but the idea of knower is not there. That's kind of knowledge. That is the knowledge of Brahman. Ityadi. Ityadi Shravanam iti Shesha. Whatever. Ityadi Shravanam. Phalitamaha. And so what is the end result of this? Viruddha Shruti. Viruddha Shruti Vakya Darshanat Tena Kartavyo Vicharaha. Footnotes 11 and 12. So anyway, Viruddha Shruti Vakya Darshanat. Thus we find Shruti Vakya. Anandam, Vijnanam, Anandam Brahma on one hand, Yatra tvasya sarvamatmaiva bhut tat kenakam pashyet tat kenakam vijaniyat. These vakyas viruddha. In one place, Brahman appears to be presented as that which is samvedyam, and here Brahman is clearly stated as that which is asamvedyam. Vakya darshanat tena kartavya vichara. Footnotes 11 and 12, viruddha, I think. Avishyatvad dvyotinam vedyatvad dvyotinam chavasam brahmani prayogat. Avishyatvad dvyotinam. That Brahman is avishayam in the statement that I just stated. And vedyatvad dvyotinam. So, Anandam Brahma Vidvan, Yo Vibhuma Tat Sukham, these are Vedyatva Dyoti. Inasmuch as people think that Ananda or Sukha is something that is Vedyam or something that is experienced or known or cognized. So, both these kinds of statements appear to be there with reference to Brahma. Vatsayam Brahmani Prayogat Agama Vipratipatte Vichara Kari. So, there is Vipratipatti, there is Viruddha Pratipatti. Thus, this contradictory understanding, the contradictory communication appears to be there with from Agama, the scriptures, and therefore, vichara kari hai. So, a deliberation has to be performed. Otherwise, Vijnana Anandam Brahma will give us an idea that Brahman is to be known and experienced, as happiness. And elsewhere, Brahman is not an object of experience, so person will be confused. Therefore, vichara kari hai. Then that tika continues. न चोदित अनुदित होमवत विकल्पो वत्ते अलम विचारेण. So udite juhoti, anudite juhoti. This homa can be performed after the sunrise or it can be performed before the sunrise. Sometimes vikalpa is given. Udite juhoti, anudite. Udita means when it rises. Anudite juhoti. So that given homa can be performed either when the sun is risen or before the sunrise. Similarly also, either Brahman can be known as Samvedya or it can be known as Asamvedya. Why not that kind of vikalpa this can be? So just as we find that kind of vikalpa in Karma Kanda, that karma can be performed this way or that way, why can it not be that Brahman can be known this way and that way? So Brahman can be known as Samvedyam and Asamvedyam. Alam Vicharana. So it says, Vikalpa Upattehe. Since this vikalpa or this kind of an optional way of knowing can be there, just as there are optional ways of doing, why can't there be optional ways of knowing? And so that is how it is understood. And, stop it now, that's all right. So that's enough. Alam vicharena. Enough with vichara. Enough means there is no need to do vichara. Iti navacham. Don't say that. Why? Kriyayam syad vikalpoyam nadu vastunya sambhavat. Kriyayam syad vikalpoyam. This vikalpa is always possible with reference to kriya. Vastuni asambhavat. With reference to vastu or the reality or a thing. There cannot be vikalpa. There is this also and this pot also and cloth also. This kind of vikalpa cannot be. Or it is flower also and then it is stone also. This kind of vikalpas cannot be in vastu. You can say you can smell the flower and you can eat the flower. With kriya, the vikalpa can be there. But with reference to a thing, there cannot be vikalpa. With reference to nature, there cannot be vikalpa. Ayam tu natu vastuni asambhavat. Iti vartikoktehe asambhava vastuna avyavastitatvena parinishthitatvena vikalpa ayogyatvam. Asambhava is what? Vastuna vyavastitatvena. Because that is called vastu, which is vyavastita, which is, which enjoys in order, or vyavastita meaning that which is predictable, which is consistent. A vastu is that which is consistent. And therefore, there is no vikalpa. In fire, there is no vikalpa. It can be cold also and hot also, because there is not so that consistency is not there. Vyavastha is not there. Vyavastha would mean consistency. There must be consistency in a thing, and therefore, vikalpa that it can be this way also and that way cannot be there. Parinishthitatvena vikalpa ayogyatvam. And similarly also Brahma being vastu, there cannot be vikalpa that it can be samvedyam and asamvedyam. Viruddha Shruti Vakya Darshanat Tena Kartavya Vicharaha. Footnote number 12. Tena iti. Tena Viruddha Shruti Vakyartha Nirnayodeshena. Viruddha Shruti Vakyartha Nirnaya. That we want to ascertain the meaning of the Vakyas, we appear to be apparently contradictory. With keeping that in mind, this Vichara Kadi hai, we have to perform this deliberation. Sridhanandagiri, Shruti Vipratipatte Vichara Kartavyadam Upasamharati. So, since Shruti Vipratipatte, since we have this Viruddha or Viparita Pratipatti, or this different, the contradictory Pratipatti or understanding of the Shruti is there, therefore, Vichara Kartavya. Iti Upasamharati Tasmadiri. So, Bhashyakara says, Tasmad Yuktam Vedavakyartha Nirnayaya Vicharaitum Tasmad. So, Shruti Vipratipatte, that is Tasmad, So, since there is a Vipratipatte in Shruti, therefore, Yuktam Vedavakyartha Nirnaya Vicharaitum. So, it's quite proper that we have to deliberate upon this in order to ascertain the meaning of the Vedavakya, the statements of the Shruti. Then, continuing, Tatraiva Hitvantramaha Tatraiva Vicharasya Kartavyattveva. That the Vichara should be done for that, with reference to that. Hitvantrama, another Hetu also is being said. Look, this is yet another reason why this Vichara or deliberation is necessary. Mokshari. Mokshvadi Vipratipattescha. Mokshvadi. People who actually propose moksha, or people who propose or accept moksha. Vipratipattescha. Among them also there are Vipratipatti, meaning that there is this difference of opinion. Among the people who accept moksha, among them also there is this difference of opinion as to what that moksha is. That being the case, since Vijnanamananda Brahma, that knowledge alone is moksha, and therefore, since with reference to moksha, what moksha is, the Vadis or the disputants have the different opinions, therefore also we have to deliberate upon this meaning of the word Ananda. Tameva Vipratipattim Vivranoti. What is that Vipratipatti? What is that contradictory opinions obtaining among them? Vivranoti explains Sankhya. Sankhyaha Vaisheshikascha Mokshvadinaha Nasti Mokshe Sukham Samvedyam Ityevam Vipratipannaha Anye Nirdishayam Sukham Swasamvedyam Iti Pratipannaha Sankhyaha Vaisheshikas. There are Sankhya's and Vaisheshikas, Mokshvadinaha. So they are the people who propound moksha, accept moksha. So that in that sense, Sankhya's and Vaisheshikas have something in common, that both of them accept moksha. But Nasti Moksha Sukham Samvedyam, that they say that Nasti Moksha Sukham, that there is no Sukha in moksha. What kind of Samvedyam Sukham Moksha Nasti? They say that in moksha there is no sukha, there is experience. Because they look upon moksha as dukkha bhava. As you saw yesterday also, is merely absence of dukkha, that's all. So there is nothing positive to be experienced with reference to moksha, that's all. So you are released from all dukkha. Iti evam vipratipanna. This is so they also say that samvedyam sukham is not there because they don't accept any entity as sukha. They just accept it as the dukkha bhava. Anye Nirtashayam Sukham Samvedyam iti Pratipannaha. Anya other fellows, whoever they are, Nirtashayam Sukham Swasamvedyam. Siddhantin, I don't know, Swasamvedyam. So that the unsurpassable or limitless happiness can be experienced by itself. This is the Pratipanna, that is the opinion of other people. Asamvedyam and Swasamvedyam. Some people feel that, say that Sukha cannot be experienced. Other is Sukha can be experienced. So, experienced Sukha is Moksha, and Moksha is that where the Sukha is not an object of experience. This kind of Vipratipatti or this kind of contradictory opinions obtained among the thinkers also. There again, footnote number 14, Sankhyaha ityadi. Atra nasti paksha Sankhyanam. Mokshe Sukham nasti. Iti paksha Sankhyanam. There is no sukha in moksha. Then there is just dukkha bhava. Samvedyam vaisheshikanam idyahu. And samvedyam sukham nasti or samvedyam sukham asti. So that is samvedyam sukham. Because Vaisheshikas talk about a sukha which can be experienced, which is what moksha is, nirdashayam sukham. Atredam bodhyam, this is what we have to see. Vipratipatti tavad dveda. This is not going to be pursued further anyway. I mean, the idea is the Vipratipatti is stated here, but I don't see a resolution of this thing. But anyway, so Vipratipatti tavad dveda, this Vipratipatti meaning that this contradictory opinion also is twofold. Asti nasti deka. Some people say that, so sukham asti and sukham nasti. In moksha there is sukha and there is no sukha. Tatra nasti iti sankhya vaisheshika ubhayesham paksha. See that? So samvedyam sukham nasti. Sukham nasti, samvedyam sukham nasti. That's how it is sankhya and vaisheshika. Tatra nasti iti sankhya vaisheshika ubhayesham paksha. Moksha sukham nasti, this is where what Sankhya and Vaisheshika, both of them believe. Asti iti siddhanta, where Vedanta said that, yes, in moksha there is a positive sukha. And those people just say, this is absence of dukkha. This is one vipratipatti. Then samvedyam, asamvedyam is dvitiya vipratipatti. Then if sukha is there, then what kind of sukha it is there? Samvedyam sukham asti, asamvedyam sukham. Sukha that can be experienced and sukha that does not become an object of experience. This is another vipratipatti, dvedha. Atracha charamaha siddhanta asamvedyam. So we accept sukha, asamvedyam, that is not something that is experienced or cognized. This is siddhanta. Prasamepi, those people who accept sukha as samvedyam, they are also samvedyam matram, swasamvedyam vaiti. There also sukha is just experienced or experienced by itself. Swasamvedyam meaning ananda experiencing itself. That's called swasamvedya. And someone experiencing ananda, that will be called samvedya. So that means that there is an experience of ananda that is different from myself. What is the experience? That I experience ananda as different from myself, or I experience ananda as my own self. Swasamvedyam vaiti dvaividyam. So this is not siddhanta. Swasamvedya is not siddhanta. But asamvedyatvam is siddhanta. So Buddha accepts swasamvedyatvam. Buddhas also talk about non-duality, but they accept that the consciousness can experience itself, which also Vedantins do not like. Consciousness experiencing itself, that means experience also is consciousness, and what is experienced also is consciousness, When I experience myself, then that I who experiences is a subject, and myself that experience is object, and so one is simultaneously subject and object. The kind of duality cannot be. A thing cannot be simultaneously subject and object. It can be at given time subject or at other time object. In fact, we do not even accept that subject is always subject and object is always object. But anyway, this subject-object division cannot be in one thing at the same time. That's all. This karma-kartru vibhaga cannot be. So swasamvedyatvam also is not accepted by Vedantin. Asamvedyam. Swaprakashatve sade asamvedyam. Vedantins say that there is no need to experience it. But that's what you are. And so they say that I want to taste sugar, I don't want to be sugar, I want to taste sugar. Sounds nice. That I don't want to become sugar, I want to taste it. Because if I become sugar, then I will be deprived of the pleasure of tasting it. The sasvada will go away. That is true, but who says this? Sugar says this. If someone else were saying it is okay. No, sugar says this. That I want to taste sugar, I don't want to become sugar. If somebody else says it, then I can understand. But when sugar says that, that means it doesn't know what it is. Otherwise it will not say. Similarly also, the person who talks about experience of Ananda, he is himself Ananda. And therefore, still is seeking experience of Ananda is nothing but denying himself. The idea is that seeking an experience is denying of what is. Seeking an experience meaning seeking something which is not there, that's called an experience. And that can be only when there is a denial of what there is. So there is a denial of Nitya Vastu. There alone I can seek an experience. Vedantins don't like that denial. It says Nitya Vastu. You are that. And that being the case, don't even try to experience something. The moment you try to experience, even that very attempt, there is a denial. So the seeker of tenth man, the seeking of this tenth man is a denial of the tenth man. As long as the fellow is seeking to be 10th man, or is seeking to find out 10th man, so long there is a denial of 10th man. This is the extent of vairagya that the Vedantins expect, that even the desire to experience, that idea that I need to experience, there is even slightest lack in me, even that idea is to be given up, that's all. Vairagya mein dusra kya hai? Nothing is to be given up. This idea that I am a lacking person, that is to be given up, that's all. That is vairagya. If presence of this creates in me a lack, then I give up that, The poor thing doesn't do anything. The things don't do anything. But what happens is the things by the very presence create in me some sensation, an attachment and something like that, or a lack, or insecurity, or security, or whatever. That is why you want to give up things. What is to be given up is an idea of insecurity. If by giving up things that idea remains intact, then giving up has not helped. And if theoretically by not giving them up, the idea is still not there, then giving up is not required. Generally speaking, giving up becomes necessary for the simple reason that habitually the things create in us ideas, that by the presence I feel secure. And habitually therefore I derive security and comfort from things. As long as I derive comfort from things other than myself, so long there is an acceptance that I am not comfortable as I am. It is that idea that is to be given up. That's all. Vairagya of this idea. That idea is to be dropped. That I am uncomfortable. That I am not sufficient as I am. That I must be a seeker. That there is a lack. Give that up. Then alone that fullness is something to be known as myself. So samvedyatvam, swasamvedyatvam also is not accepted in Vedanta. Asamvedyam iti siddhanta. If they use the word swasamvedya, that only would mean swaprakasham, jnana swarupatvat. Because Ananda is also Vijnanam. See, the beautiful thing is, Ananda also is Vijnanam, Jnana Swarupam. And Jnanam is that which is self-revealing or self-effulgent. So here is Ananda, that is self-effulgent. So in the sense of self-effulgent or Swaprakasham, one may use the word Swasamvedya, if that is all right. But then Vedantins stay away from using that word because Bauddhas use that, Swasamvedya. And they have their own meaning. That is why people also would understand it, that I know it myself, I know myself. I experience myself. Even that idea also is to be given up. Anye nirtashayam sukham swasamvedyamiti pratipannaha. And so, this all vipratipattis are there. It's to whether there is sukha in moksha or not. If it is there, it is experienced or not. We experience different from myself as myself, or it is not. So, all these vipratipattis are there. Vimarshapurvakam purvapaksham grannati. Saprayojagam vicharam karyam uktva ityadi. Iti adi. Saprayojagam vicharam karyam uktva. So, iti vimarsh karyam uktva vimarshapurvakam purvapaksham grannati. This is how we have to read adi. Saprayojagam vicharam karyam uktva. That how vichara has to be done, and the prayojanam also has been stated. Then says vimarshapurvakam purvapaksham grannati. Bhashyakara then takes up the purvapaksha kim tavad. So we'll read that sentence. Kim tavad yuktam. Alright. What do you think is proper then? Oh, this is so. What do you think is proper? We ask these people. Purvapaksha. So today we could complete Purvapaksha. The thing is, we already discussed Siddhanta anyway. In the very process of discussing Purvapaksha, Siddhanta has been discussed that Brahman is Asamvedyam. So Ananda also is Asamvedya, has already been discussed. Bhashyakara will take a little time, to arrive at that conclusion. But this is what will be the conclusion when we complete the discussion subsequently. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Om Shanti 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 Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Bṛhadāraṇyam Sutrabhāṣya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad-vyapta dehaya Dakshinamurtaye namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. जात एव न जायते कोऽन्वेनं जनयेत् पुनः विज्ञानमानन्दं ब्रह्म रातिर्धातुः परायणम् तिष्ठमानस्य तद्विदयते विज्ञानम आनंदम ब्रह्म रातिहि धातुः परायणम तिष्ठमानस्य तद्विदः. Just again looking at this on the page 927 in the Bhashya, the last two lines, or the third line before the bottom, samapta akhyayika yad jagatah moolam yena च शब्देन साक्षात् विपदिश्यते ये ब्रह्म. यद याज्ञवल्क्य है ब्राह्मणान् पृष्टवान् तत्स्वेन रूपेण श्रुतिः अस्मभ्यम् आह. समाप्ता आख्यायिका, the आख्यायिका, the dialogue of Yajnavalkya with all the brahmanas is complete. Yad jagatah moolam, that which is the very cause of this creation, yena shabdena sakshat vipadishyate brahma, and brahma which is now to be described in a positive way. One way is neti neti, that's by negating what Brahman is not and saying what Brahman is. Sakshat vipadishyate Brahma. Yad Yajnavalkya Brahmanan Prashtvan, which Yajnavalkya asked of all the Brahmanas. So all of you can ask me a question, one of you or all of you can ask me a question, or I can ask any one of you or all of you. But that did not happen, none of them came forward. Tatsvena rupena Shruti asmabhimaha. That very Brahma now Shruti tells us in her own words, Vijnanam Anandam Brahma. What is Vijnanam? Vijnanam Vijnaptihi Vijnanam. Vijnanam means just the pure knowledge, Vijnaptihi, what we call the abstract noun of Gnanam. What they say, objectless awareness of the knowledge that informs every form of knowledge. Vijnaptihi Vijnanam. Which means knowledge not confined in a particular form, but knowledge that is the common content of every form of knowledge. So that because of which all knowledge is, that because of which everything is known, that vijnanam, that knowledge is also called awareness or consciousness. Intelligence, by different words it can be said. Tacha anandam, that very vijnanam is anandam, of the nature of ananda or fullness. The Vishaya Vijnanava Dukkhanuviddham. Ananda, as we understand, is not the conventional Ananda, Vishaya Vijnanavat Dukkhanuviddham. So, the Vijnanam, this Vijnanam is Anandam Vijnanam. So, Brahman is Vijnanam alright, is knowledge alright. What kind of knowledge? Which is Anandam or knowledge that is also synonymous with or simultaneous Ananda or happiness. न विषय विज्ञान व दुखानुविद्धम. This laukika sukha, but or even laukik vishaya vijnanavat, even the vijnanam that we have, the vishaya. So vijnana of anything is always involves dukkha of some kind or the other. Yad viditam, tudalpam, martyam, heyam. Anything that is known is always going to be limited. And therefore, it is going to be always dukkhatmakam, is always going to involve some dukkha. moment you align yourself with that or identify with that, it is going to become a cause of dukkha. So Vishaya Vijnana, this Vijnanam is Anandam, and that means that it cannot be Vishaya Vijnanam because, so knowledge as understood in the conventional sense is what we call objective knowledge. Knowledge of an object or knowledge of something other than myself always involves some kind of dukkha because that knowledge always involves an idea of duality. So here we are talking about a knowledge which is devoid of the idea of duality. That's what it means. Vishaya Vijnanavat. So when in that Vijnana of the knowledge that is this duality of the knower and the known, then that duality always, the awareness of the duality itself involves dukkha in the sense that it always involves the sense of limitation. Inasmuch as there is always an awareness that I, the knower, is different from what is known, and so that sense of separation is always involved in every Vishaya Vijnana, every knowledge involving the knower-known duality, and that itself is dukkha. Even if dukkha is not experienced in a very positive sense, the very potential of dukkha is there in the very idea of duality. So dukkha-anuviddham is always informed by dukkha, pervaded by dukkha. It is not that kind of vijnana. So what is this vijnana? The knowledge that we are talking about, awareness or intelligence that we are talking about, kim tarhe? Says prasannam dukkha hetuna kama krodhadana sambandharahitam. This vijnanam does not involve any cause of dukkha, which is kama, krodha, etc., devoid of any cause of dukkha. Shivam not only does not involve kama, krodha, but very cause of kama, krodha, ignorance also is devoid of the idea of ignorance. Atulam, any knowledge again or happiness always involves some kind of a comparison. Any happiness that I experience can always be compared to some other happiness experienced by me or experienced by someone else or could possibly be experienced. So no happiness that can be experienced can ever be satisfactory, totally satisfactory. When happiness is experienced as something other than me, which means that when there is in me this idea that happiness is derived from something other than me, then that happiness always is going to be limited, meaning it will always leave in me the idea of a certain amount of insufficiency. It will always be better. Either it is not as good as the happiness that I experienced at some time, or not as good as experience happiness by someone else, or there is always an idea involved there, or awareness involved that this could always be better. This is what we call satishayatvam. The surpassability is always there in any happiness or even the knowledge of the happiness which involves the duality, where the source of happiness is other than me. So this is atulam, which does not involve any kind of a comparison, so incomparable, or atulam, there is unsurpassable. Anayasam. Again, when the happiness that is experienced, there is an awareness that this happiness is acquired. So when the happiness is achieved or experienced as a result of an effort, then also there is always an idea in me that this is something I have acquired. This is something that is achieved as a result of an effort. And that very idea of effort also involves dukkha. And also there is an awareness of that, since it is acquired, it is always subject to going away. Since there is an association with happiness, the idea of potential disassociation always involved. This is all dukkha, either in the positive form or in the potential form. The very duality is dukkha. The very idea of something other than me, dukkha. The idea of comparability, dukkha. The idea of an effort, dukkha. Idea of ignorance, dukkha. Idea of kama krodha, dukkha. So anayasam, this is happiness or the knowledge, it is anayasam, effortless. This is how the self is described. The idea is that, how do you describe the self? Anayasam, effortless. Prasannam, devoid of any kama krodha. Anandam, devoid of the idea of vishaya, or Shivam, devoid of the even idea of ignorance, etc. So, anayasam, atulam, devoid of any comparison. So in the self this cannot be. So this is another way of, in fact, illumining the nature of self. And this is the vijnana of the happiness that is totally fulfilling, nitya truptam. It is not merely absence of some pain, but it is a total fulfilling happiness. There also, all this anandam, vijnanam, all of these are different from each other. Ekarasam. What is vijnanam? Is anandam. Not that vijnanam is an adjective of ananda or vice versa. Or satyam, jnanam, anantam, that each one of them contributes something to happiness. I am Brahman now. That adjective is a Brahman now. What is satyam? Is jnanam, is anantam, ekarasam. So this is anandam. Then Bhashyakara continues in the next paragraph, Atraidam vicharyate. With reference to this ananda, this vichara or deliberation is needed. Ananda or happiness always involves a connotation. This word ananda is always used in our colloquial language. Every word is used, of course. And so every word has what we call a commonly understood meaning. And since the Vedas also must necessarily employ words that are commonly known to us, therefore the meaning that is commonly understood by us is always going to strike in our mind. So whenever we hear the word ananda, this Phuranam, the meaning that strikes in the mind, is a meaning that is important. So since the word ananda is always associated with the common happiness, Bhashyakara wants to make a point that ananda that is referred to here by Shruti is different from the happiness or ananda that is commonly understood to be. Atraidam vicharyate. Ananda padavachyam vastu vicharyate. What is that vastu? What is that thing which is actually denoted by the word ananda? Ananda shabdo loke sukhavachi prasiddha. In the world, in our common experience, the word ananda, sukhavachi, means sukha or happiness. अत्र च ब्रह्मणः विशेषणत्वेन आनंद शब्दः श्रूयते. आनंदम ब्रह्मेति, विज्ञानम आनंदम ब्रह्म. In this statement, we find that ananda is a visheshanam, is a qualification of Brahman, that Brahman is vijnanam also, Brahma is anandam also. And since the word ananda is commonly understood as happiness, therefore a deliberation is called for. Not only here, Shrutyantare Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat Anandam Brahmano Vidwan Yadesha Akash Anando Nasyad Yo Bhuma Tat Sukham Idicha Shruyate. In elsewhere also the Shruti, like in Taittiriya Upanishad, Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat. How Bhrigu came to know Brahman is Ananda. So there also Brahman is Anandam Brahma. Anandam Brahmano Vidwan Vibhedi Kadachanedi. So knowing Ananda, that is Brahman, one becomes free from all the fear. Yadesha Akasha Anando Nasyat. If this Akash or the Atma or the nature of Ananda were not there, who could ever survive? Yo vai Bhuma Tat Sukham. That is Bhuma or abundance. That is Sukham. Bhuma means Brahman, so Brahman is Sukham. Idicha. Esha Paramah Anandah Ityomadhyah Shudayah. And this is the Parama Ananda of this person. That is a description of deep sleep, but the idea is that this is Parama Ananda. In the deep sleep, the only object of experience is Atma and ignorance both. And so that ourself also is referred to as Ananda. In short, here as well as elsewhere, Ananda is stated as the very nature of Brahman, and therefore it becomes necessary for us to understand what is the meaning of the word Ananda. Alright, suppose that is so, so what? Suppose Ananda is Brahman and elsewhere also Brahman is said to be Ananda, so what? Why do you have to deliberate upon that? Samvedye sukhe. Ananda Shabda Prasiddha. Now what Ananda is Prasiddha is known in the sense of Sukha or happiness that is experienced. So we always associate an experience with happiness. Whenever we use the word happiness, there is always a connotation of an experience. Samvedya. Samvedya means Vedya. Samyak Vedya. Vedya means that which is known. Here that which is known or that which is experienced. Samvedya sukhe. Ananda Shabda Prasiddha. And in our common experience, the word Ananda is Prasiddha, well known as a happiness that is experienced or that is known. Fine. So what? Brahmanandascha yadi samvedya syat yuktahayate brahmani ananda shabdaha. So Ananda is samvedya. Samvedya means that which is known, that which is experienced. Now Brahma is Anandam. Say Brahma is Anandam, then Brahman also must be what? Samvedyam. Brahman also must be that which is experienced. Brahmanandasya samvedya syat. If Brahman that is Ananda also were samvedya or something that is experienced, yuktahayate brahmani ananda shabdaha. Then all these words, Ananda words that are used with reference to Brahman would have been appropriate if the Ananda that Brahman is were an object of experience. So fine, why not? Nanucha Shruti Pramanyat Samvidyananda Surumaiva Brahma. This is fine. Purupakshi says that sounds okay. Shruti Pramanya, since Shruti says that Vijnanam Anandam Brahma, that Brahma is Anandam, therefore Samvedya Ananda Surumaiva Brahma. So we say that Brahman also of the nature of Ananda, which is Samvedya, which is something that is experienced, something that is known. Kim tatra vicharimati. So why do you have to deliberate upon that? So it seems to be very clear that Brahman is Anandam. Ananda is something that is, so Ananda is commonly translated as bliss. So this is where Swami has a lot of problem, with the word bliss. And so, because the word bliss means, again the word bliss also is an associate. The word doesn't have to mean anything. It is what we make it out to be. Even bliss should be alright if word bliss is understood. If any word is alright, any other word also is alright, provided it is understood properly. And if not understood properly, no word is alright. So there is no need for us to have to revolt against the word actually. But the connotation that the word has with reference to Brahman, bliss means what? An experience. Some kind of a sensation, a state of mind basically. So why the word bliss? We always understand a state of mind. Something that is achieved as a result of some happening. Something happens to a person because he comes in contact with something, experiences something. So that is why, so bliss then is happening, is an experience, is a state of mind. And so if Brahman is understood as bliss, that means Brahman is confined merely to an experience or to a state of mind. Then we cannot say it is Brahman, because what Brahman means, it is infinite. That which means it pervades everything. And if Brahman is confined to a state of mind, it cannot be called Brahman. And so a lot of excitement is there with reference to word bliss. Bhashyakara also is excited, And so when the word Ananda is understood in the sense of experiential happiness, then this is what actually is addressed here. Whether the word Ananda means experiential happiness or what is it? So Purupakshi is what they call a tentative thing, here. Nanu Shruti Pramanyat Samvedyananda Swarupameva Brahma. Shruti says Brahma is Anandam. And Ananda means something that is experienced. So why not we say that Brahman is the nature of Ananda, that is experience. It is bliss. Or, so in the sleep also there is bliss. Ecstasy, these are the kind of things. So there is always a connotation of the word ecstasy and bliss is always something that is achieved and then gone. It comes and goes. So why not that? Kim tatra vicharyamiti? So why does this demand some kind of a deliberation or inquiry? Says na Vruddha Shruti Vakya Darshanat. Because in Shruti we have this Vruddha Vakya. On one hand there is Vakya which says Vijnanam Anandam Brahma, where Ananda can be understood as something that is experienced, whereas Brahman also is said to be non-dual, which means that it does not involve any duality of the experienced and experiencer, And so Vruddha Shruti Vakya Darshanat says here, Satyam Ananda Shabda Brahmani Shruyate. Alright, as you make out Ananda means experienced happiness, alright, let us say, if Ananda means bliss that is experienced, okay, so that is being stated here. Vijnana Pratishedascha Shruyate Ekatve. But Brahman also is said to be what? Ekameva Dvitiyam. Ekameva Dvitiyam meaning what? That does not involve the duality of the experiencer and experienced, devoid of the duality. So Vijnana Pratishedascha Brahmani Shruyate. On one hand, Shruti says Brahman is Anandam. On the other hand, Shruti says Brahman is non-dual. Where do you find it? Yatra tasya sarvam atmaiva abhut tat kenakam pashyed tat kenakam vijanayat. Yatra tasya sarvam atmaiva abhut. When for this knower everything has become Atma, everything has become self. Which means he appreciates the fact. He appreciates the fact that everything is self, everything is one alone and that is self. Tat kenakam pashyed. Then who is there to see what with what? The idea is that, so Kaha kenakam pashyed. Kaha is what? The karta. Kam is what? Karma. Kena is karana. Kaha kenakam pashyed. Who will see what with what? That means this whole idea of the duality of the knower, known and the knowledge, or the seer, seen and seeing, all of the duality. How can there be when one knows, when everything has become the self, how can there be this duality? Kenakam vijaniyat. So that vijaniyat is important here. Vijnana pratishedasya shruyate. Shruti very clearly says that this vijnanam or the knowledge involving the subject, object and instrument, how can there be there? Yatra nanyat pashyati. That is from Chandogya. Nanyat shranoti. Nanyat vijanati. Again vijanati. Sabhuma. So that is Bhuma or Brahman, where one does not see anyat. Where seeing is there, but anyat is not there. So where one sees all right, but the idea of anyat, seeing something other than me, is not there. Shrunoti, vijanati, so anyat na vijanati, where they are. In that knowledge, the idea of the otherness is not there. Prajnena atmana samparishvaktaha na bāhyam kinchana veda. So, Svabhavikena Atmana Samparishvakta Etyantaveki Bhutaha. Totally identified, having become one with one's own self, na bāhyam kinchana veda. One does not know anything that is outside, meaning one does not know anything that is other than oneself. All that is one's own self, where the idea of duality is totally dissolved. Ityadi. So this is also what Shruti says. On one hand, Shruti says Anandam Brahma, where the word Ananda commonly understood is that which involves a samvedanam or involves a sensation. And here Shruti says Brahman is non-dual, which means that the idea of sensation or experience or duality, word experience, even if word is alright, But the thing is, even again, experience also there is a lot of problem here. Because experience also involves duality. Doesn't have to, but it does. Commonly, the word experience always involves duality of experiencer and experienced. Word bliss always involves duality of, involves a state of mind or a happening, something coming and going. And so, that's why either don't use those words or use them with qualifications. You can't really condemn a word, poor thing, a word happens to be there in the language, but then we have to use it with qualification. What is meant by bliss, or what is meant by experience? Because those words have something to contribute, in my opinion. Experience conveys a sense of intimacy, which sometimes knowledge does not convey to a person, So what experience always involves an intimacy. What bliss always involves, it involves an experience, all right, but also involves the idea of total fullness, So those words have limitation, at the same time, they have something to convey. So every word has a limitation in as much as it's a word, and every word has something to contribute in as much as it's a word. That's the reason why the communication takes place only through words. At the same time, the use of word is so very important as to how the words are employed. And every word is employed with a qualification. You use Anandam Brahma, then call it Vijnanam Brahma. You call it Anantam Brahma, call it Jnanam Brahma, then call it Satyam Brahma. Even Shruti also has to do that. Any one word is adequate. Brahman itself is adequate. You don't have to say anything else. But then Shruti is a Satyam Brahma. To guide us, to help us. Again, Satyam may have its own connotation in mind, so it's a Jnanam Brahma. Jnanam also has its own connotation, Anantam Brahma. In light it will go on. You can use infinite words and still not remove connotation totally. Every new word will remove some connotation and add its own connotation, which will help something else and create some problem. Help solve one thing, create something else. In that way, even infinite words. And so in eternity, what is it, all that, there are all these 18 ETs are there, in that song. But anyway, so any number of words that you use are not sufficient. At the same time, they are sufficient when they are properly unfolded. So importance is not using the word merely, but unfolding the word. When Bhashyakara Attaidam Vicharyate, here this deliberation is called for or is performed, that means Bhashyakara is unfolding the word Ananda. It's such an important word, therefore this is what we call the process of unfoldment of the meaning of the word. And simply by throwing words into air, it can create, every word will create a notion, or a complex in its own way. Every word will create a notion. Ityadi. So, both these kinds of Shrutis are there. Viruddha Shruti Vakya Darshanat Tena Kartavya Vicharaha. Therefore, Vichara or deliberation is called for because these passages of the Shruti appear to convey contradictory meaning. So one set of passages where the word Ananda is used appear to convey the idea of an experience. And here on the other hand, these Shrutis very clearly say that any experience involving duality is not there. Therefore, we have to deliberate upon the meaning of the word Ananda. Tasmadhyuktam Vedavakyartha Nirnaya Vicharayitum. And therefore, Vedavakyartha Nirnaya. So, Nirnaya for ascertaining the Vakyartha, for ascertaining the meaning of the passages or statements of Veda, Vichara is important. So, that is why Vedantartha Vicharena Jayate Jnanottamam. It is by the Vichara or deliberation upon the statements of Vedanta that the knowledge arises, and not merely by use of words. So Tattvamasi, merely words cannot do that, but these words require to be deliberated upon. So one reason why the Vichara is performed upon the word Ananda is that there are this contradictory idea that the word Ananda appears to involve an idea of duality or experience, whereas there are other passages of Shruti which clearly negate the presence of duality in Brahman. So that contradiction is one reason why this Vichara or deliberation is called for. The other reason also, Mokshavade Vipratipattescha. Then Vipratipatti means divergent opinions are there. There is a divergence of opinions with reference to those who are proponents of moksha. So those who are proponents of moksha, among them there is this divergence of opinion. What is Sankyaha, Vaisheshikascha, Mokshavadinah?
Sankhyas also talk about moksha, Vaisheshikas also talk about moksha. What do they say? Nasti mokshe sukham samvedyamiti vipratipanna. So, mokshe samvedyam sukham nasti. They say that in moksha there is no positive experience of happiness. Basically, Sankhyas and Vaisheshikas talk about moksha as absence of dukkha rather than some kind of nitya truptatvam. Any fullness is not stated by them, but absence of all pain. Anye nirtishayam sukham. There are others who on the other hand talk about nirtishayam sukham. Unsurpassable happiness is there. Swasamvedyamiti. Again, there also different opinions are there. There are swasamvedyam, samvedyam. That in moksha there is this unsurpassable happiness that is experienced. Some people say. Others say that it is there but not an object of experience. Others say that one knows swasamvedyam. Swasamvedyam means one knows oneself. This is a Buddhist opinion. Swasamvedyatvam, one knows oneself. Vedanta means asamvedyam, that sukha is not something that is an object of experience. Samvedyam, swasamvedyam, asamvedyam. Samvedyam, that which is sensed or experienced. You can say that which experiences something other than myself. Swasamvedyam, experienced all right. But then experience, so I experience myself, that is called swasamvedyam. Asamvedyam, it is not experienced because it doesn't require to be experienced. Swaprakashatve sati asamvedyatvam, this is Vedanta. Swaprakashatve sati, this Ananda is actually self-effulgent, self-revealing. That being the case, there is no need of an experience. There is no need for experiencer to be there at all, because it is the very nature of experiencer. Therefore, swaprakashatve sati asamvedyatvam. It being self-revealing or self-effulgent, therefore, knowledge is there, but the sense of duality is not there. In short, Vedanta talks about a knowledge, that there can be knowledge devoid of duality. Normally, we always understand knowledge as involving duality of knower and known. We always talk or understand happiness also is involving duality of an enjoyer and enjoyed. So Vedanta says there is knowledge which knowledge need not involve the duality. Happiness also need not involve the duality, because that knowledge and happiness are self-revealing. So Atma is self-revealing, and therefore no experience is needed, because whatever is experienced is Atma. Therefore something is to be understood rather than achieved. This happiness is not something to be achieved. The moment we use the word bliss, or whatever word we use, experience, that always it conveys the idea of something that is to be accomplished, something that is to be achieved, some kind of a state of mind has to be acquired and retained and so forth. Whereas here we are talking about something that is to be understood, that swaprakasham, it is self-effulgent, ever there, at this moment also it is there, doesn't call for an special state of mind, it calls for an understanding of what is, rather than creation of something special. So there is no need to create something special, there is a need of understanding what is. This is the whole idea. Okay, then Kim Tavad Yuktam, all right. So now we have these Viruddha Shrutis talking apparently indicating a experience involving duality as well as Brahman being devoid of duality, that apparently contradictory to the statements are there on one hand. On the other hand also there are these different ideas about what that moksha is. Whether it involves any positive happiness or not. If it involves happiness, then also what is that kind of happiness? Is something experienced as different from me, I experience myself, or it is not an experience. Kim tavad yuktam, among all of this, what is proper? Again, Purvapakshi makes a presentation. Anandadi Shravanat. Kim Tavadiktam, you can say. So, Jakshat Kridan Ramamana. I think this is from where we will continue, isn't it? We did up to this point. Kim Tavad Yuktam. What is then? What should be the proper understanding here? On the page 931. So, Vimarsha Purvakam Purvapaksham Grannadi Kim Tavad Ityadina Saprayojakam Vicharam Karyam Uktva Ityadi Ityadihi. So, Vicharam Karyam. So, this Vichara has to be performed. And having said that, Vimarsha Purvakam Purvapaksham Grannadi. Bhashyakara takes the Purvapaksham Vimarsha, asking a question, Kim Tavad. Then, so Purvapaksha doesn't say here what it is, but first says, then what should be the position here? So says Anandagiri, Anandadi Shravanad Vijnanam Anandam Brahma iti Shrutehe Mokshe Sukham Samvedyam iti Yuktam iti Sambandha. Anandadi Shravanad Vijnanam Anandam Brahma iti Shrutehe. So Vijnanam thoda gavaya. Anandadi Shravanad means what? Vijnanam Anandam Brahma iti Shrutehe. Kहीं संभला तो नहीं, मैंने तो नहीं संभला. Visual आगे तो आज मैं लागे एक संभाई. बरोबर संभाई. What is Anandadi Shravanad? Anandadi Shravanad means what? Vijnanam Anandam Brahma iti Shrutehe. The Shruti Vijnanam Anandam Brahma. By the Shruti, Mokshe Sukham Samvedyam iti Yuktam. By that Shruti, inasmuch as the word Ananda is used by the Shruti, therefore it is proper that the happiness that the Shruti talks about is Samvedyam, is experiential happiness. Is happiness that is experienced, that alone is proper. It's a Purvapaksha. Now continuing, Anandagiri, page 931, Tatreva, first line, Vakyantarani Udaharati. Tatreva Anandasya Vedyatveva Vakyantarani. Alright. So again, Purvapaksha in support of his position here quotes statements involving this experience of happiness in case of a wise man. Vakyantarani Udaharati Jakshad Ityadina. Says Bhashya, Jakshat Kridan Ramamanaha Sayadi Pitriloga Kamo Bhavati Yas Sarvagnyas Sarvavita Sarvan Kaman Samashnure Ityadi Shruti Mokshe Sukham Samvedyam Iti. So iti Yuktam. This is how, after that iti Yuktam. Mokshe Sukham Samvedyam iti Yuktam. On the strength of these passages from the Upanishads, it is only proper that the happiness in moksha is Samvedyam, is something that is experienced. Jakshat Kridan Ramamanaha. See footnote number 1 and 2 and 3. 2. Evameva Esha Samprasadha Asma Sharirat Samutthaya Param Jyoti Upasampadya Svena Rupena Abhinishpadyade. So Uttama Purushaha. Evameva, in this manner, Esha Samprasadha, this tranquil one. We should understand Samprasada as Atma or also as a wise person. So either way. This self, which is tranquil, of the nature of Ananda, that means also this wise man who knows the self as Samprasada, as total tranquility. Asmat Sharirat Samutthaya. Now rising from this body. We can understand this as a description of the Videha Mukti, or rising from the body, becoming free from the identification with this body. That is rising from the body, becoming free from the sense of identification with the body. So that is what wisdom involves. When the knowledge involves that I am Ananda, I am full, which means I am the self of all. I am the self of everything. I am everything, I am the self of everything. Which means I am not confined to this given body. So what is meant by identification of the body is a sense of confinement to this body. That I am only as much as this body. Naturally, that is opposed to this knowledge. And so this knowledge that I am everything makes me free from the idea of the sense of confinement to this body. That is what is meant by giving up the identification of the body, and that is what is meant here by saying Asmat Sharirat Samuthaya. Very well arising from this body, becoming free from the identification of this body. Param Jyoti Upasampadya. And attaining that Param Jyoti. Param Jyoti means that supreme light of awareness or knowledge. So Jyoti means awareness, which is the nature of the self, Upasampadya. Attaining that Param Jyoti, attaining that self, which is of the nature of illumination and knowledge. Svena Rupena Abhinishpadyate. Having become free from the identification with the body, he becomes established in his own nature, which is Param Jyoti, which is the nature of the awareness. Saha Uttama Purusha. Uttama Purusha. Neither Akshara Purusha nor Akshara Purusha. Uttama Purusha Stvanyah. Paramatme Chudaya. Yasmat Ksharamatidoham Aksharadavi Chottama. Since I am that which is beyond the Akshara and above the Akshara also, Uttama Purusha. Uttama means transcendental Purusha. The Akshara of course is something that is experienced. Akshara is that is the cause of this experience. But then Uttama Purusha is that which is beyond the idea of cause and effect. Saha Tatra Paryeti. This is where he moves about. In this region he moves about. Where? Uttama Purusha. Jakshat Kridan Ramana. So his happiness, his fullness, how to describe his fullness? Just as in Taittiriya Upanishad as well as in the Bṛhadāraṇyaka Upaniṣad, you have the Ananda Mimamsa, where the Ananda of the wise man is sought to be described in what we call algebraic or mathematical terms, So Shruti, in order to give an idea of what is meant by happiness, has to use again commonly understood experiences. With reference to the experiences that we have, the Shruti has to describe the Ananda of the wise man. Jakshat, Kridan, Ramana. Jakshat, eating or laughing. Kridan, sporting. Ramana, playing. Stribihiva, with women. Yanaihiva, with vehicles. This is what a common man knows. So with reference to that, the happiness that Brahman is described. To quote Swami, which is not something I like to quote anyway, but still, in this particular instance. So there's this young girl, she must be 5 years old or something, 5 years old. She's playing with the toys. And she has a sister now, he's 20 years old, and the sister is getting married. And so this little child asks the dad, says, why? What is happening to my sister? Oh, she's getting married. Why? Oh, she'll be happy. What kind of happiness? Oh, she'll be tremendously happy. What kind of happiness? Hey, if you have a whole, room full of toys, how would you feel? Oh, I feel wonderful. Oh, that's what your sister will feel, In as much as she has not developed the faculties to appreciate what the elder sister is going to feel, the idea I'm just repeating the words anyway. And so, the father is trying to give an idea of what that happiness is. This is all that a child can understand, as to what the bliss or whatever it is. And similarly also to explain a common person what Ananda is, one has to give the example that a common man can understand. Jakshat Kridan Ramana. Jakshat, eating or laughing. Kridan, sporting. Stribihi Ramana, playing with women. Yanaihiva Ramana, Jnatibihiva. Or with vehicles and with the friends. So, this is how. Now, anyway, this description is taken in a literal sense, you can. Purvapakshi does it, or let us say that Bhashyakara takes the opportunity to actually explain these statements also. The whole reason why this discussion is raised and the Purvapaksha discussion is initiated and Purvapakshas are raised also is not, of course, primarily to unfold the meaning of the word Ananda, and by the way also to give a correlation with the passages obtaining elsewhere, which also seem to convey the idea of an experience, that is laughing and playing and eating and sporting, and so that does convey the idea of an experience. So how are those passages also to be understood? That also is being discussed, by the way. No upajanam smaran, the whole passage is quoted here. Idam shariram, idam upajanam shariram nasmaran. No more remembering this body with upajanam, which is born of the contact, of the physical contact. This body which is born of the physical contact, not remembering that. No more identifying. That is already stated. Then Jakshat Kridan Ramamana has to be understood in different ways. When it is said that this wise man now doesn't even have the awareness of his body, that means doesn't have the awareness of being an individualized self, then his sporting and laughing is not going to be also a conventional sporting laughing. But anyway, if that sporting and laughing etc. is taken in a conventional sense, then of course one would think that this is the nature of happiness. स यथा प्रयोग्य आचरणे युक्तः एवमेवयम् अस्मिन् शरीरे प्राणः युक्तः. Then what is this body doing anyway? So prana in this body, what does the prana do? It simply pulls this body. Prayogya is someone that is tied to a vehicle, like a chariot. So like a horse or a bullock. So like a bullock that actually pulls a bullock cart, or a horse that pulls a chariot. Similarly also, asmin sharire ayam prana prayuktha. This prana just acts as a horse, like, pulling this body. If he doesn't remember the body, that means when he does not make an effort actually to sustain his body, how does his body get sustained? The prana does it. How the chariot doesn't make an effort actually to be pulled, how the horse does it, and so his body is pulled, and which means that effort also is not involved on his part. So this is a description of the ananda that the wise man attains. However, jakshat kridan ramamanaha. So jakshat can mean eating or laughing. Kridan ramamanaha. These words they convey, so vishayan bhakshayan jakshat. What's the meaning? Footnote number 2. Footnote vishayan bhakshayan hasanva. So enjoying the objects or laughing. We associate these acts generally with happiness, Kridan means what? Pitradvihi. So, Pitradvihi Kridan. And so, sporting with is, so we take it for granted here, of course, that Pitra means what? Departed souls. And so one misses them, assuming that we have some connection with, that we have much to do with departed souls, in the sense that suppose you're missing them here, then you may want to call them. Or you want to enjoy with, their company. And so enjoying the company of these parents or the departed souls. And Ramana, what? Striyadivihi. So Strivihi, Vayanahi, Ramana. And so playing with them. This is from Chandogya Upanishad. Then Bhashyakara further said, again from Chandogya. Sedi pitriloka kamo bhavati. So, bhavati iti. Says footnote number 6. Sankalpadevasya pitarha samuttishtanti. Teni pitrilokena sampanno mahiyate iti. So this now, of course, that is in the sense that this is the passage that occurs in the reference to Upasana, But anyway, because 8.2, that the section 2 is all the first 6 sections are Upasanas. But still the same can be applied to a knower of Brahman also. Say the Pitriloka Kama Bhavati. If he desires for Pitriloka, somehow Pitrus are very important in Vedic culture, as I said, they must be having some really excellent relationship. The parent-child relationship must be good. So all the time, he talks of Pitriloka. Nobody bothers about Pitriloka these days, very few people bother anyway. But those days they seem to, that means that they must be having really a good relationship. They must be having healthy childhood also, and fewer childhood problems and complexes too, I guess. So footnote number 6, Sankalpadevasya Pitaraha Samuttishtanti. If he is desirous of experiencing the happiness of Pitraloka or meeting or having company of the departed souls, then Sankalpadeva, by his very sankalpa, by his very resolve, Asya Pitaraha Samuttishtanti, his departed souls or the parents or whatever, ancestors Samuttishtanti, they appear before him. Tena Pitralokena Sampanna Mahiyate, and thus he is glorified. Being now, having attained this Pitraloka, he is glorified. Then Master Kara says, Yas Sarvagnyah Sarvavit. This comes from Mundaka Upanishad. Yas Sarvagnyah Sarvavit. Knower of everything. Sarvam Janati is Sarvagnyah. Again, Sarvam Vetti is Sarvavit. So there also the idea of knowing everything is involved. The idea is of knowing is the knowledge. So the objective knowledge is involved. That's the idea. Sarvan Kaman Samashnutaiti from Taittiriya Upanishad. That he experiences all the pleasures simultaneously. Ityadi Shratibhya Mokshe Sukham Samvedyam iti yuktam. So kim tavad yuktam. Somebody says, all right, then what is the position here? Then Purvapakshi says, Anandadi Shravanat Mokshe Sukham Samvedyam iti yuktam. Because these Shrutis very clearly say that Brahman is Ananda and the Brahmavit also is described as the one enjoying different kinds of pleasures. Therefore, it appears proper to us that the happiness in moksha is something that is experienced. It is experiential happiness. This is proper. Purvapaksham Akshipati. Alright, we question him. Still Siddhanta does not come, but first of all we are pressing the Purvapakshi, to clarify himself. Once he comes out all open, then we can properly deal with him. Otherwise what happens? People don't come out openly. Just says a little bit, you say something, no, that is that, you say something, and so first of all let Purvapaksha be clear. So what exactly you mean, And so, to clarify the Purvapaksha here, so Purvapaksham Akshipati means what? So, the Purvapaksha's question is, what do you mean by that? Nanaviti. So says Bhashya, Nanu ekatve karaka vibhaga abhavad vijnana anupattihi kriyayascha aneka karaka sadhyatvat vijnanasya cha kriyatvat. Nanu, this Nanu is, Siddhanta is doing Purvapaksha to Purvapaksha, So Nanu, is it not? This Nanu means that. Isn't it? Ekatve karga vibhaga abhavad vijnanopattihi. Is it not that ekatve? So ekatve, footnote number 7, brahmana dvayatve. In other words, Brahman is non-dual. Brahman means everything is non-dual. There is nothing but Brahman. So there is no duality ultimately. That's what it means. If Brahman is non-dual, then what is dual? There is nothing else that is other than Brahman. And therefore, the duality is not. That is what is meant by mithya. But anyway, so nanu ekatve, brahmana dvayatve, when Brahman, that means the reality is non-dual. Karaka vibhaga abhavat. Footnote number 8, kartradi karaka vibhaga abhavat. So when the duality, when there is no duality in the ultimate sense, then the karaka means the various accessories involved in accomplishing an action, That's called karaka. So whatever is required for accomplishing a kriya or an action involves number 1 a karta, a doer. Involves an object on which something is done. Object also involves an instrument like the speaker here, So that's the karta. The words are the karma. The organ of speech is the karanam. And thus all the different, the purpose also is there of speaking, that will be the Chaturthi, so Sampradhanam. And thus different, all these Karakas, different, all Vibhaktis are involved. A place where this is done, and the purpose for which is done, and what is done, and with what it is done. Who does? Any Kriya will always involve all this question. Who is doing it? What is he doing it? With what he does? Why does he do? Where does he do? And also an action involves a movement. And all action always involves movement from a place to another place, so that will involve the Panchami, And so those words emerging from the speaker and going to the listeners and so forth. So all these different Karakas, meaning these different factors or accessories are always involved to accomplish an action. Every one of these accessories is involved. Brihikatve, when we talk of non-duality, then naturally this kind of division of the doer and the doing, etc. cannot be there. Karaka vibhaga bhavat. Vibhaga means this division. So division which the Karaka, the accessories involve, since that cannot be, Vijnana Anupatti. Is it not? Is it not that if Brahman is non-dual, Vijnana Anupatti, that Vijnanam in a conventional sense, that knowledge or the experience of the sensation, it cannot be. You are saying it on the strength, see the thing is, on the strength of the passage of Shruti, the Purvapakshi says that the Vijnanam, the knowledge, is Samvedyam, something that is experienced. We are saying that since Brahman is non-dual, therefore how can there be a scope of experience? Because experience always involves the duality of experiencer, etc. So how can it be? So says Anandagiri, Mokshe chet ishyate sukha jnanam. Mokshe sukha jnanam ishyate chet. If in moksha, the sukha jnana means the experience of happiness or the knowledge of happiness, if it is desired by you, Purvapakshi, tarhi tat aneka karaka sadhyam vachyam. That means jnanam. Then the knowledge must be accepted as that which is accounted.